Hi, I'm James McGuire, and on today's eSpeaks, we're talking about what it means to be a truly connected enterprise, where the connection of people, technology, and process can create enormous value. Of course, there are plenty of challenges too. To talk about those challenges and the potential of the connected enterprise, I'm joined by a very special guest. With me is Sanjay Brahmawar, Chief Executive Officer of Software AG. Sanjay, thrilled to have you with us today.
James, thank you very much for having me. What a pleasure.
So let's talk about what it means to be a truly connected enterprise. I mean, businesses today are connected on so many different levels: IoT, cloud computing, many complex processes. But of course, being a truly connected enterprise is easier said than done. In your view, why does being a TCE matter, and what are the benefits?
James, I think if you think about most businesses today, they already have a lot of data that they have created, by virtue of having been in operations for many years. The challenge is that this data is actually in quite a disparate landscape. It's on certain on-prem applications, it's in private cloud, it's in public cloud. It's also a lot of it being created now on the edge, And so therefore, the biggest challenge for the companies is how do you bring this data together to give access to the business, and so that the business can use the data, whether it's with the help of analytics tools, or it's being able to do certain activities on in time or in real time. So to do all of that, you've got to have access to that data. You've got to give availability of that data to the business, and that's why truly connected enterprise becomes really important. And the businesses that are investing in that kind of digital transformation and are really stepping up to becoming TCEs are able to shift away from products to services. They're able to create a competitive differentiator. They're able to really, support their own businesses for growth. So that's why TCE is very important.
So it sounds like the desire to make more from data is really driving the need to be a TCE. I mean, you would think, given that, the companies would be very eager to become a connected enterprise. What are some of the roadblocks in the way? Why is that difficult for them?
Well, I would say the 2 years of the pandemic have been actually a big. It's been, kind of almost like it's like a question that has been asked of the organizations: are you ready to be able to deal with the current situation? It's sort of a wake-up call. Mm-hmm. But I think when we think about roadblocks and what is stopping organizations, becoming a truly connected enterprise is not only about technology and investing in technology. It's a lot about changing the ways of working. Because if you think about for a second, if you have your equipment, machinery, or your devices all connected, and you're collecting data, you're bringing it into your platform, you're analyzing that, you're then improving the service that you offer to your client, or you're actually offering them new bundles and new services. That whole way of working, that connected customer experience, totally changes the way you work in your organization. And so the way you incentivize people, the way people are focused on customer experience and customer excitement, all of that changes. But if you don't address your processes, you don't change the ways you do things, you're not able to tap into that. So one of the biggest hurdles is about changing the ways of working. And so to me, digital transformation is not only technology, it's also about the change management and the processes that have to be changed.
It sounds like there's definitely a human element involved in that. I'm wondering, how do companies incentivize their workers to move towards that culture?
I think first and foremost, it's really important, James, to create the vision, plant the flag. Where exactly are we going? Where are we taking the company? How are we going to serve our clients better? How are we going to win more in the market? And so it's very important that everybody in our companies buys into the why. Why are we doing this? And that's the first step. And then, of course, it's very essential to have a feasible roadmap that people can see what are the milestones. How do we achieve that? We adopt certain technologies. We change the ways of working. We start implementing that, and we win more in the market. So it's about creating that path to getting there. And then, being consistent about the execution on that path. If you think about our own journey in Software AG, we have shifted a company that's a 50-year-old company to a sustainable, profitable company. But getting there was all about setting the flag, planting the flag, and then defining a roadmap with clear milestones to get there. I mean, we're still in the journey, so we haven't completed, but that's what's very essential.
What about the idea of the digital backbone? Why is that important for enterprises, and how does that play into the idea of TCE?
Yeah, well, if you think about organizations, everybody talks about, James, becoming a software company. Why do they talk about that? Why do they say that we need to become a software company? Well, it's because you need to have a certain level of digital infrastructure upon which you can build your value-added services, upon which you can build your applications, upon which you can deliver more services to your clients. So if you don't have that digital infrastructure, then you are struggling to deliver these capabilities or have that differentiation in the market. And this is what we mean by digital backbone. We mean those infrastructure capabilities that are essential to be able to allow you to build upon. And in our case, we are supporting our clients with hybrid integration and API management, which is the ability to connect applications, clouds to clouds, allow the business access through APIs, data integration, smart data pipes, moving data between different locations into places like Snowflakes, Databricks, etc. There's business transformation, which is really addressing the point I said. How do you change your processes? How do you do process mining and assess the data in your processes to optimize them? And finally, IoT, which is basically connecting remote assets or mobile assets and collecting the data. So this way of managing data from your apps, from your devices, and from your processes, that's what we call as a digital backbone.
You've mentioned Software AG and what it does for companies. Let's drill down to that a little bit. How does Software AG help companies become truly connected enterprise?
Yeah, becoming a truly connected enterprise, first and foremost, is helping a company think through their strategic ambition and how technology can enable them for their strategic ambition. So one of the things that we do is we bring to bear with our clients and with new clients our experience of having been through that journey of digital transformation with many other clients in several industries. One positive for us is that our platforms are horizontal. So we are actually across many industries. And therefore we learn, I would say, a lot of the battle scars, not only the good stories, but also what doesn't work. And so the first step is to be able to help a client think through strategically what is essential for digital transformation. How do you adopt a digital backbone? That's number one. The second thing is, you help the clients with technology in a very easy to use, consume as they grow basis. Because the last thing the clients need is they have to commit to a very large volume up front, and then they don't know whether they can really deploy that technology or they can use that. So the way we serve our customers is through SaaS, software as a service, or through a subscription model, which is very much on consumption. Help the customer start small and then learn, experience, and then grow and scale. That's the second thing. And that also helps our customers because they don't have to worry about, if it doesn't work, they can also decide that they don't want to do that initiative. And then the third thing is we bring deep expertise through our professional services. Because one thing is providing them technology, the other thing is helping them implement and deploy that technology. And while, of course, there are system integrators and other consulting companies that can do that, we have very deep experts that allow our clients to move very quickly, to quickly get value out of the technology that we give them. So that's the way Software AG really helps clients, and truly by becoming strategic partners for the long term.
Interesting. So let's look to the future. I think a lot of companies want to know where we're going. I'd love to get a sense of what you think is in the future. It sounds like one of the issues is data. Companies are really driven by data, and that's making them want to be a TCE. One of the problems with data, it sounds like sometimes, is the companies want to distribute it widely, but they also want to hang out into the silos for the sake of compliance. How do you think that issue will shake out as we move forward in the future?
Yeah, I think that's a solid question, James. Data privacy and how we handle data, of whether that's data of companies or that's data of individual consumers, that's a very important aspect of how we deliver also, and we support our clients. I think here in Europe we have GDPR, as you know, so we've learned a lot through GDPR in terms of how to really deliver services while respecting the data integrity and the data privacy requirements. I think this will continue to evolve. It's a space where we will have more and more understanding. We will also know where sharing of data actually drives true benefits and true value. And where in some cases, sharing of data is something individuals or organizations don't want to do because, they don't believe that there's enough value created. So I think this balance between where sharing data is really beneficial versus where it doesn't really help. That's something we're learning, over a period of time. I do believe that the more data we can share, the more joint up services can be delivered. I give you an example. We work with Smart City Dubai. And one of the things they do is, to be able to give a great experience to different profiles of people, whether it's your citizen or it is your student or it is a tourist or it is an investor, all of them, to give them an end-to-end experience. That's only possible when different departments in the city are able to share data and therefore can create an end-to-end experience. Excuse me. And so sharing the data creates a very smooth, frictionless experience for that kind of a profile. And I think those kind of cases are very valuable, because they definitely create a better customer experience, a long-lasting customer experience. And similar things can be seen in, other companies like insurance companies, medical companies, automobile companies, where more sharing of data can actually really help the customer experience.
Interesting. All right. So any other thoughts in terms of the future of the totally connected enterprise? I mean, what do you see in the years ahead?
Well, I think, edge will become more and more important. So I think intelligence on the edge and the ability for decisions to be made on the edge is going to become more prevalent. So with 5G, for example, 5G and IoT, the combination really allows us to do more. So I give you an example. If you've got more compute power on a windmill, or you got more compute power in the car, or you got more compute power on a machine that's located in a remote place, all of that will allow us to be able to make a lot more decisions there itself. And so there is no necessity to send data all the time to the cloud. And then you can send portions of that data into the cloud. So the smart movement of data, which is a lot more efficient, by the way, but it also allows you to use a lot of analytics and software capabilities on the edge. So that, I think, is going to be definitely much more prevalent in the future.
Sanjay, I think you said it. It's a lot of good stuff. It's going to be a fascinating sector to follow. Thank you so much for your insight today.
Sure. And it was a pleasure to talk to you, James. Thanks very much for having me.